Hi guys, my name is Mumina. I am a registered dietitian. So I want us to talk about very simple things that you can do at the comfort of your home without complicating anything to ensure or to help you control your blood sugars better. So if you are diabetic or you have pre-diabetes or insulin resistant or you're suffering from any other condition like maybe PCOS or thyroid issue that is actually related to blood sugar control, this video is going to be of help to you. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is the importance of understanding the type of foods that you're going to eat. The purpose of having meals, the purpose of taking a food is basically nourishment, to give you energy, enough fuel, to help you do the normal things that you do for the day. Another thing, when you're taking up your meals, you're also supposed to be ensuring that you provide your immune system with nutrients, functional units to help you fight against disease. And the last thing that we take food for is to help us manage the conditions that we already have. So when you're having any particular meal, if you are diabetic, pre-diabetic, or you have insulin resistance or even PCOS, then you need to ensure that you understand the effect that that particular meal is going to have on your blood sugar. That is glycemic index. And we have insulin index. That is basically the response that your body has in relation to insulin from the food that you have consumed. I will explain. When you take up a particular meal, as we have said, your body is going to need to release or produce insulin to ensure that it controls and regulates the existing blood sugar. So insulin index basically measures how much insulin is going to be needed after consumption of particular foods and food groups. And as we understand, carbohydrates are usually the primary nutrients that actually trigger blood sugars and definitely insulin need. I hope we have understood the importance of knowing what you're eating. You need to ensure that the food choices that you have selected go in line with foods that are going to have low glycemic index. I will expound. When you're preparing your dinner, when you're preparing your lunch or breakfast, even if you're selecting foods in a buffet or an event, you need to ensure that your plate is combined in such a way that it is going to help you control your blood sugars. I want to talk about and I want to insist on the importance of controlling carbohydrate load, because carbohydrate load means a higher glycemic load, which translates to elevated blood sugars. Because if a food has high glycemic index, it's going to translate into an increase in your blood sugars at that particular moment. Ensure that you take up the complex carbohydrates, the whole foods if it is possible, because they have been shown to have slow release when it comes to blood sugars. They promote digestion. They make sure that your body is going to release blood sugar at a slower rate compared to the refined and processed carbohydrate. That is very important. Another thing that you need to understand is also these other food groups, things like the fats. Fats are quite good because they don't have any impact on your blood sugar rather than actually controlling it. So you need to ensure that you pair your carbohydrate with a fat source and a protein source. Combining your carbohydrates with a healthy fat, quality protein have positive impact on glycemic controls. Avoid consuming carbohydrates alone. Like avoid taking up like 4 slices of bread with tea. Just substitute the 4 slices. Do like 2 slices of bread. You do a banana, then you do an egg or nuts. That will be more filling, and then it is also great for weight control and weight management, an issue that is quite common with anyone struggling with blood sugars. Healthy fats, things like avocado, nuts, fish, ghee, butter, olive oil, they come with additional nutrients like vitamin E, there's omega-3, all these fat-soluble vitamins that are going to help us ensure that we are well nourished, our metabolic system is well taken care of, and this will definitely translate to better blood sugar control. Another thing that I'm going to talk about is on the importance of diversity when you're consuming your meals. I have talked about the importance of ensuring that you select the right type of foods and then you ensure that they are well combined. Now we talk about the importance of ensuring that the meals that you're taking up are well diversified, and they will also help you in gut microbial activity, which will improve digestion, improve metabolic health, and translate to better blood sugar control. Another thing, people with blood sugar control issues have actually been shown to have gastrointestinal problems, things like acidity, constipation, things like refluxes, and all these affect how the body utilizes and absorbs nutrients for effective metabolism. We are going to take up balanced meals yet, but we're also going to make sure that they are diverse as well to ensure that we actually take care of our gut health. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is the importance of adapting good food preparation and cooking techniques. Because if it is disintegrated during cooking, it will spike up the blood sugars faster. So you need to ensure that you adapt slow cooking methods like steaming, boiling. You protect the integrity of carbohydrates to protect and to ensure that you have an effective glycemic index. The next thing that we're going to talk about is definitely on fiber intake, because fiber is an essential macronutrient that is not even consumed adequately. But I am glad and I can actually say that our population is trying when it comes to fiber intake, because most of us do ugali skuma and maybe an avocado, ugali skuma and maybe something ugali spinach, but we can also do other vegetables that we have. We have cabbages, we have carrots, we have cucumbers. And when you pair a high glycemic index food with a high fibrous food, the glycemic load reduces, because you'll end up having a less amount of the high glycemic carbohydrate compared to when you don't have the fiber. Let's say you're having something like ugali and mala. It's a high protein, high energy, but very limited fiber intake kind of meal. When you have this type of meal, even if you self-assess yourself, you end up eating more ugali than when you're actually having something like ugali, mayai, and some vegetables. When you're having your ugali and your mala, you can also have your ugali and your mala, and you can do some banana. An uptake of 300 milligrams a day is ideal for normal digestion, blood sugar control, for weight management, to supply with adequate nutrients, that is phytos, vitamins and minerals, take care of the anti-inflammatory need that the body has to deal with the increasing rates of inflammation. Ensure that you stick around, because I have a video coming up on inflammation. So the next thing that I am going to talk about is on a low carb, high fat and moderate protein. I have talked about the carbohydrates being the main culprit when it comes to blood sugar overload, and fats being those good guys when it comes to controlling your blood sugars. The only off thing with adapting a low carb, high fat kind of diet is the drastic things that you actually do when you're told to do low carb, high fat. The easiest way to get easily into a low carb, high fat, moderate protein kind of diet is starting by eliminating the processed and refined carbohydrates, and in place of those, replace with things like avocado, replace with things like maybe fish oil. By so doing, you're reducing the blood spikes, the blood sugar spikes, and the insulin need as well. After that, you now start with substitution. You don't just do away with carbohydrates immediately, because there's something that we call food addiction. I'll definitely make sure to talk about it in another video, so how to overcome it. So you need to ensure that you go easy on yourself so that you don't relapse. The next thing that you can do is actually do intermittent fasting. Let me drink some water. Intermittent fasting has actually been associated with good health benefits. The constant blood sugar spikes that are from overconsumption of foods all throughout the day, and you're having, let's say, something like insulin resistance, or you're pre-diabetic, is not something that you should actually be leaning towards. You need to ensure that you reduce spikes of these blood sugars by ensuring, we've talked about increasing your intake of fats, because fats are more filling, fibers are also a filling as well. You'll need food lesser times as compared to someone who's on a purely carbohydrate kind of protein kind of diet. The easiest way to get into intermittent fasting is again to ensure that you also adapt a diet that will support you to do the intermittent fasting, something like the low carb, high fat, moderate protein kind of diet, and promote intake of quality complex carbohydrates and whole foods. This is very good because you can actually have 2 meals a day and you'll be full. You'll not be denying your system nourishment because you'll be taking up enough from the whole foods and the good nutritious place that you'll be taking up. It is very easy to actually ensure that you're meeting up your energy requirements daily using intermittent fasting, but you need the necessary guidance. And while we are doing all this, we need to ensure that we observe and promote food safety. We clean our vegetables well. We ensure that our foods are well cooked to avoid bacterial overload in our system. Because if you have uncontrolled blood sugars, whether you're diabetic, whether it's pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, PCOS, or even thyroid issues, you're actually prone to gastrointestinal problems, as I have talked about, and other infections. It's also good to also ask yourself, what are you taking in? What are you giving your body? Are the additives safe for you? Ensure that you understand what is on your plate, understand what is in your cabinet, understand what supplements you're taking. That is basically what food safety is all about. That is very important. Another thing that I would like you to understand is that when you're overloading yourself, you're overeating, you're overloading your system, that is not nice. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the importance of the essential macronutrients in blood sugar control. Things like magnesium, things like calcium, and things like vitamin D, because they help with epithelial repair, they help with digestion, they help with nutrient absorption, they help with blood sugar control, and they also help with hormonal imbalances. So it is quite important to ensure that on a daily you consume variety of foods. That is the whole mantra from the different food groups, to ensure that you get all the essential nutrients, both macros and micros. That is the only way, because if you consume one particular type of food every other day, you will be missing on what the other alternative might be having that is not in the one that you're actually consuming. For example, if you eat ugali every other day, you might be missing on the vitamin C or the other essential nutrients like maybe potassium that are found in raw bananas and maybe potatoes and such. And one last thing, when you're having issues with blood sugar control, you need to ensure that you work with a registered dietitian, someone that will come with the sole interest of ensuring that your meals and your diet is actually geared towards controlling and helping you with blood sugar controls. Also on the same thing, we have a wellness coaching program. We have a group for diabetics, we have a group for people with PCOS, we have a group for breastfeeding moms, we have a group for cancer patients, to teach you and ensure that we give you all the essentials of blood sugar control, blood sugar regulations, and apart from that, we offer you accountability. Like, we are there to ask you the hard questions to ensure that you do the right things to help you actually control your blood sugars. If you're interested in that coaching program, I'll definitely link the details in the description box and in the pinned comment as well, so that you can actually reach out and we will walk with you through that journey. Let's remember that diabetes can actually be controlled, and the best time to control diabetes or to prevent diabetes is now. With the increasing rates of inflammation, the increasing rates of stress, the increasing rates of toxicity in the foods, in the environment and such, there's definitely going to be an increase in the incidences and the occurrences of metabolic conditions like diabetes in the near future. So you need to ensure that you start practicing habits to help you and actually to protect you from the occurrences of these conditions in the future. And one of the things is actually dietary adjustments like the ones that we have talked about. Other things, we have physical exercise, we have proper sleep, we have stress management. All these are things that you should start doing by now, like today. You don't wait until you're sick to start controlling blood sugars, but if it has already happened, ensure that you reach out to professionals to help you actually manage this condition. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, kindly give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing as well to support my channel to grow, and let's control our blood sugars. Bye.